Hi, I'm Tony, this is Slack, welcome to Smog Vlog. Today we're going to be reviewing the Troll V2 by Wotofo. Wotofo.
Whoa, tofu?
And here we are back in the room. Right, like we said, the Troll V2, following on from the popularity that Wotofo saw from the V1 original Troll, we thought we'd give this a review. So, while Slack takes a hit, we'll dive down and give you an unboxing.
Right, battery's running out, so very quickly, the Troll RDA. Quick tour around the box, troll face on the front, shit on the side, barcode here, bunch of warnings on the side, one scratch and sniff, brilliant. Let's get in that box. Here it is, the Troll. So, very quickly, I don't have enough skin on my fingers to take that off. Right, some of you may have spotted the deliberate mistake with the sudden change of everything on the desk. Yep, the battery's run out on the camera because I've got elite skills, lol. Anyway, yeah, Troll 2, which is an awesome film, by the way. You should definitely watch it. It doesn't have any trolls in it. Genius. Here's the build deck. It's a standard velocity deck. You know, you've got your peak insulator down there. It's just so standard, like everything else. What is different though, look at that. You know, it's 3 O-rings, which is awesome for juice protection, but also shows how deep that juice well is. So this is standard hex screws in there. Putting this back on, screw adjustable centre pin, nice threads, so on a mod, and we can now more easily adjust our airflow with these awesome shark gill affair airflow things, one on each side. So that's really cool. Next up, drip tip. So the drip tip section, you come with this sort of like little stubby job, which has got a fairly sort of narrow bore hole. Standard drip tip adapter there, but you can just pop this out, throw everything on the floor, and this is why you don't unbox in a hurry. And then you've got this massive fat chuff cap. Chuff cap's got double O-rings, and it's just going to slam straight in there. Nice tight fit, look at that. Oh, nice and tight. This metal round here, I've just found out, is quite sharp. It's quite thin. However, obviously this is, you want thin, so it's not intruding on your build deck. Coming in the rest of the box, we have some comp wire. God knows what resistance that is. We will find out. We have some more comp wire, which feels like cotton. And we have some more comp wire. Ooh, exciting. This is spares. So in here we have spare bits. So let's see what we get inside the box. So we have the good kind of screwdriver, a bunch of O-rings and screws. We have some Muji. Oh, pre-built coils. Ooh, look at that. There's 3 twisted, maybe 28, maybe 26 at a push coils. So, you know, if you're lazy, I might use these. I might just stick some of my own creations in there. Who knows? We'll see what happens. But for now, Troll 2, back to the studio. Oh my god!
And back in the room. Right, thank you Unboxing Slack for that. I'm sure adequate unboxing, we'll all agree. Right, this is only going to be a mini review because it's just a dripper, there's not a lot to it, so I think we'll start at the top and work our way down. So first of all, at the top, we'll start with the drip tip.
Yeah, so you got the choice of two. As you saw in the unboxing, you got the massive chuff piece, or you've got the sort of slightly smaller, slightly internal conical, I don't know, funnel, sort of internal funnel shape dripper. I didn't think I was going to like the little one. Yeah, it's very short, you know, it's a little nubbin, and yeah, what's the point, I thought. But actually, I've chuck some spitty builds on there, and it sort of is a little bit more forgiving than the massive chuff piece. But they're both good. Obviously you get more airflow with the chuff piece, but they're good. Which one do you prefer from
your usage.
Definitely in favour of the chuff style one. They both got their own merits though. The matchy of the silver internal funnel type one definitely changes the airflow of it, but I'm just a lover of chuff style ones. I mean, if you're going to do it full on.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think I do prefer that unless I've got a really spitty build in there, in which case I go down, which is ironic to the one that's closer, but where it's that little bit smaller, you're not just inhaling, hot spit. Well, that's kind of a good segue into the next bit, which is going to be the airflow. So airflow, as you saw up close, is just adjusted by spinning this top bit, and you get a choice between horizontal lines or vertical lines, or sort of diagonally vertical lines. You can have 1, 2 or 3 of these bars open, and it does give you a really good variety of airflow. You can have the airflow off if you so wished. So yeah, you get good choice. The only thing you don't get is the ability to run a single side on it. Like some drippers, you can turn off one of the sides airflow, but that's what electrical tape was invented for. But yeah, it's both sides on or both sides off. That's how it works here.
Hashtag duct tape. Yeah, in usage, I mean, the airflow's been absolutely fantastic on it, I find. I mean, I don't use a heap of drippers. The majority of the ones that I use is what this guy picks up, but this is a favourite of mine.
Yeah, airflow, like really nice and wide open. You don't get quite the same level of control as you do with the velocity. However, you don't need it. You got 1 bar, 2 bar, 3 bar, and 3 bar is plenty, and it works really well. Really strange. I'm not sure why they've done the horizontal and diagonal bars, because there seems to be no performance difference. There's just, it just looks cool, I suppose. Which is fine. It works good anyway. So
next up for you guys, working down from top to bottom, is the build deck. It's got a velocity style build deck and screws.
Yeah, and they work well. We're going to chuck a build on it later for you. Actually, the build that's in here that I filmed earlier, thanks to the power of creativity. However, the build deck itself is a pleasure to work with. What makes it really good is the fact that you know where you can build to. Because you can see the top of your juice well, it sort of sits there, and as long as you build inside that, you're going to be okay. Around the outside of the juice well, you've got this tube with your airflow, now that sits around the outside, but then you still have to slide this inside, and this is where a lot of drippers go wrong. You sort of think you've got that much room to build on, you think, oh yeah, there's loads of room, but then you try and slide an extra bit of metal down, and suddenly you're touching your coils because that wasn't there earlier. The metal's really thin there, which I'm not a fan of thin metal, usually in drippers. I like the stuff to be nice and solid, but this makes complete sense. It's absolutely not a problem. It is really good because, as long as you're building inside the perimeter of that juice well, this is going to fit. You're not going to be snagging on your thing as you turn your airflow around. It's not going to be catching your cotton, catching your coils. It just works really well. They've done really good with the design here. Hopefully I'll explain that all right.
Okay, so for anyone that's suffering with the whole blueprints that Slack's just laid out for you, the simplistic way of this kind of way of thinking of it is the base of it and that top section are similarly matched, and you just got the sheath around the outside. That this is not going to plan at all, not at all. You get the idea though. Happy ending.
So next up, juice well. Juice well is awesome. Look at that, triple O-rings for her pleasure. It is brilliant. It's deep, you get you nice and moist in there. And yeah, I'm not a fan of 22mm drippers. I'm just going to put that out there. I always prefer 26-650 size drippers. Nice big drippers. Loads of room in the juice well, yeah. So loads just have to be refilling all the time. Loads of room to work with your cotton, everything like that, all that good stuff. Now with this, because the juice well's so deep, you just sort of loads of room to just get the cotton down. Still leaves a nice channel down the middle to drip into, and yeah, loads of juice in it. So this is one of the better juice wells on a 22mm. It's sort of reminiscent of El Cabron, just where you get that extra bit of capacity, and that does make a real difference in this small form factor.
Next up for you guys is the 510 connector. It's a goldy looking 510, screw adjustable, good protrusion.
Yeah, and it works good. Screw threads are good, and not had any issues with it on various devices. And where the screw protrudes, you're going to be alright on your mechs, your hybrids.
Next up for you guys, we're going to stick a quick build video in here now. If that's not going to be something that interests you, use the time codes down below. You can just skip across. However, I will warn you right now, it's going to be an awesome build. Awesome!
It's really not. It's really not.
Right, before we chuck a new build in this, I thought I'd just quickly show you the old build I've been running in here now. It's really messy and really dark in there. I've been mainly doing the s'mores. See, loads of room in that build deck. You can build right up to the edge here. So, obviously you've got the cover itself, which fits over. That goes round the outside. Then you've got the airflow here, which obviously is going to intrude on that because that sits on the inside. However, where the airflow itself is nice and thin, it actually doesn't stick out any more than the base of your juice well. So you don't have to worry about, oh, I need to leave like a couple of mil in from the juice well. You just sort of build up to the inside of that and you are good to go. You don't have to worry about it, which is really nice. As well as that, while we're uppy closer, you got these two different choices of air holes, and I think that's pretty fun. Doesn't really make much difference, but it is quite nice. The old build in here is 3.5mm internal diameter, and there's still loads of room. With a bit of work, I think you could manage to get 4mm internal diameter on sort of a relatively thick wire. It's not like this is just sort of 28 gauge Canthol or something we're talking about. This is, I think, 26 gauge, 24 gauge Tiger wire, something like that. Yeah, let's just show you that wire. Here's a standard coil jig, 1.5mm through to 3.5mm. Yeah, all the way through to 3.5. And like I say, still loads of room to work with, which is great. Anyway, it's not about that, it's about a new build, so I'm going to take this out and give it a little clean out. If you're wondering how I clean it out, I run it under the hot tap for a bit, and then when that's good, I run it under the cold tap, drinking water, let it dry, and then I'm good to go. Occasionally give it a vodka bath, but, I don't need it here. So, see you in a minute. Right, okay, so we're back a couple of minutes later. We're all clean and shiny, just with some hot water and a little bit of elbow grease, and yeah, so let's just chuck a build in it. So this is Demon Killer wire, supposed to be parallel Clapton, but it's twisted parallel Clapton, which is a bit weird, but I've never used it. Some people like to use it by sort of untwisting it so you get the standard thing, but looking at it, it's quite a thin wire. This isn't particularly that exotic really. I'm just going to use it as it is, see how it goes. It's either going to be good or shit, we don't know. Enjoy the journey. So when I make coils, I either use like a coil jig, screwdriver, drill, or these bad guys. Now it's going to depend on how well the wire fits. I do prefer using coil jigs like this to do the winding. It's just so quick and easy, and I find it makes a nice tight coil. However, let's see what happens with this wire. So I've put it on, done the 90-degree bend. 1, 2, 3, 4 will probably do. So if these ends don't line up and they're like splitting out like that, I always take the end that I've just pulled off and give that a tighten. Doesn't matter too much if they're not puckered up nice and tight, which this wire really doesn't want to do. Terrible. We'll learn our lesson, do the second one better. 3, 4. I have to say it out loud because I am pretty stupid and will forget what I've been doing. But they'll both be fine. So we have our 2 coils and we're ready to go, and before I put it in a mod or a 521 tab, I'm going to chuck the coils in because they're much easier to work. Now obviously you have a high end and a low end, chuck them in, and there's just tons of room to work in here. We can then straighten these up just to make sure we're at the right height, not touching anything, just to make sure we haven't gone too awry with our calculations. There you go, 0.38. So we'll be just under 0.2 when we've finished this. Another little trick, as you see, I bent the other ones when I've finished. I sometimes do it when I'm fitting them, because you can bend them out the way just to pull the coil itself in, and that sort of helps hold it in place while you screw it. Now I actually want that a bit tighter from what I was saying last time about you don't want any extra long legs. That one, now they are messy at the moment. You've got sort of staggered coils that are not together. That's fine. I'll get these bits out to the side, retrieve my wire cutters, and then carefully making sure you're cutting only the spare metal out the backs. Make sure it's nice and flush. Some people cut the coils before putting them in, and they cut them to the exact right length that they want. I do that on some builds, but velocity style deck, where it's so easy to get in, and I might change my mind about how much legs I want on each of them. I just cut it off when I'm happy with it, when I'm finished. That's our coils on. We just need to sort of give them a little bit of work so they're not a complete debacle. Yep, that'll do. Okay, ceramic tweezers time. And we'll put the tab onto Bernie mode. If you end up using a coil jig while doing this, make sure you don't press the go button, because the coil jig is made of metal, and if you put electricity through that, you will not have a good time. So I'm just going to retighten. Now I've been heating it, I'm just going to retighten some of these contacts so we get a bit more of an even burn. You want to tighten it down so it's sort of nice and firm, but without forcing it, so you end up snapping your wires. It's a fine balance, but you get used to it. Right, okay, having tightened this up, much more even. While doing this, I've decided that I want the coils slightly spaced, so I'm just twanging them out. I mean, the spacing I want on them is less than the width of the wire itself. We're not massively spaced. That is pretty even now. It's not 100% accurate, but to be honest, for me that's going to be okay, because I like to rebuild these things every couple of days. Each day I'll probably rebuild one or two things. I do different sorts of shit with it. So for now, that will do. It's time to wick this sucker. Now comes the important bit. As any drag queen would tell you, the most important bit is the tuck. Neatening this up, make sure the cotton is still nice and sort of bouncy and big, but doesn't go up too much. Yeah, we need that cotton to come down. If it starts going up into the air, it's not going to draw the e-juice, and you're going to end up with dry cotton that will burn. After memory card being full failures, I've just sort of vaguely pushed this down. We're just going to start by chucking some juice all over the cotton. The trick is to remember not to end up crushing your cotton. If it's crushed, it won't pick up the juice as good, but you don't want it angling up. Right, that's about it. I'm going to chuck some more juice on this, let it soak for a bit, run out of memory card space again, get annoyed, and we'll see how it goes. Let's give it a quick fire. It's only on the old tab. Yeah, Vapours. You can see in there the coils are not even close to the edge, and look how thin that metal is. Really, really thin. It's strong, but you know, it's thin, so you don't have to worry about, oh, am I going to have enough room or not. You just pow straight in there. Tons of room. Real juiced. It's slightly hot, 0.2 ohms, and that's about what we want. Let's give it a go. Back to the studio.
So, thank you, me, for that awesome build video. Well, it wasn't an awesome build video. Builds on camera are always shit. It's just the angle you have to work at, and trying to remember that you've got to present stuff to camera. But anyway, it's not about that. It's about this and the ease of building in it. For a 22mm, you get so much room, like I said, with the airflow thing not taking up too much room. It's a velocity style deck. It's so easy to work with. You've got so many options of things you can do. You saw there I had a 3.5mm internal diameter, quite thick wire to start with. It would have taken 4, though that would be getting into the realms of starting to be a bit faffy to make it fit, but I don't doubt for a second that it would fit even with thick wire. So yeah, build deck on this, ease of building is just great.
Okay, next up for you guys, nearing the end of this mini review for this dripper, so you know, stick with us. We're going to be approaching now the Vapour production and Flavour, I believe.
Yeah, indeed. So we're going to take a few hits on it. It's got the chuff piece on it. Chuff cap. I can't resist it.
Piece.
But yeah, anyway, it's got that on it, and it's got the build that you saw in the video. So we're going to give it a few hits, just top the juice well up, and we'll talk about it, and you'll see the vapour. Ooh.
Yep. Patent pending, bro science.
Now, what I would say is my batteries are starting to go in this, but
What I will actually say is that this is more a test of Slack's building abilities.
But being a dripper, yeah, is entirely about that. That'll probably do.
But at least you see that even with the amazing build that Slack put in there, you see how the unit actually performs.
Yep. Now, there was some heat that appeared on the thing itself, on the metal casing around here, but not a lot. It wasn't hot. The vapour wasn't hot. I was running it at 4.3 volt with a 0.19 build in it, something like that. So it's going to be around about 100 watt equivalent there, 22 amps for those who are interested, which is, you know, fine. It will take more than that without a worry. You're not going to start melting your O-rings. It got hot, but not mega hot, not worryingly hot. Vapour was pleasant.
I only found that it got hot at the base of it as well, where your coil is actually situated at the top. It was fine, and the drip tip, it's got that Delrin top drip wide bore drip tip. It was absolutely fine.
Yeah, having run this same build on the smaller drip tip as well, it is absolutely fine with that as well. The only thing I find with the smaller one, where you're running at high wattage, you know, high vapour productions, it does tend to end up sort of like all gathering around there, so you end up drinking a bit of juice at times, but that's common with those small drip tips. So flavour production on this, which you know you can't see, is good. It again comes down to how you're building, but because you've got the control of the airflow, you know, you can get good flavour out of this with both drip tips as well. You know, it just comes down to your builds, but yeah, I'm happy with it.
For anyone that's interested, we were using One Hit Wonder's Rocket Man, and obviously we know that flavour profile fairly well. If you're interested, check our other videos, you'll find a review for it.
Yeah, obviously you go get better flavour if you slightly restrict the airflow. If you're using the smaller cap, it's slightly domed on the inside, which always helps with flavour as well. But there's not a lot in it with the build we're running at the power we're running it.
Next up is sturdiness for the unit. Now, what we've said previously in this video is that it's built very well. I mean, we like the construction of it. The only thing about it really is where the inside fins are located on that thin bit of metal running around it. It's not really anything to do with the structure of the tank, because the outside of it is forming the main sturdiness of it. That is just to control your airflow. Dive in now. I'm suffering.
Yeah, but obviously there's a concern of while that is out, you know, when you've got this out, you could quite easily bend this by hand if you were being clumsy or sat on it or something, but you know, it's going to be a rare occasion. It's going to stay in here, and where it's in here, it is nice and sturdy while sort of retaining being lightweight. So yeah. Right, okay, last thing we're going to talk about is the cost. We're not going to say the actual price, thank you TPD. However, what I will say is that this is fantastically priced. You know, for an authentic, you know, you are getting a really good deal for your money.
While we're not actually going to say the cost, you will see change from 20 quid.
And that price Tony was alluding to was actually from a local vape shop. So, you know, we're not talking China special here. We're talking high street prices. It makes it really competitive up against clones and stuff for an authentic that's pretty decent.
Okay, guys, so that about brings us to the end of this review for the Troll V2 by Wotofo.
Whoa, tofu?
Tofu?
Yeah, it's a great little 22mm dripper, you know, nice and easy to build on. It's got good airflow, and yeah, it's just a pleasure to use at a really competitive price, so we like it.
Okay, guys, that's it. We're done. No more.
Simple as that.
Thank you for watching. We hope you enjoy what we're doing for you. If you do, please don't hesitate to drop us a like and do the whole subscribe thing, because it helps us out immensely. If you'd also be so kind to follow us on the social medias, Facebook, Twitter and Instagram, because we are a bit
chatty. So if you've got any questions about this or anything else, hit us up in the comments below or find us on the social media. Best place, Facebook. We're loitering about in New World Vaping UK. You can find us there. So yeah, do give us a shout. But for now, guys, thanks for watching Smog Vlog. Actually, no, I don't know. Yeah, it's not too bad till you move your head and you're like. Ugh. Want to add anything?
No, that was pervy enough, I think.
Okay. That is to do with the old angle.
We thought we'd give this a review. So, while tax likes a hit. Tax. Can I call you tack? I mean, is that too formal?
Yeah.
Okay. So, while Slack takes a hit, we'll dive down and give you an unboxing.
Right, before I show you a build that's going, we're going. Fuck off, neighbours.
Ready?
Yeah.
Good. A better way to have said it surely would have been the lip of the base and that top section are evenly matched, and so it's just the sheath that goes around the outside.
You say that then.
No, fuck you.
No, go on.
No, the moment has gone.
No, you just
Past.
just say just in case.
All gone.
Just in case anyone hasn't got a fucking clue what Slack's talking about.
Next up for you guys is us. Not us. Not at all.
Just a bit.
Just the tip. Just the tip. Well, we're not actually going to say the cost.
I've already said that. Go on.
While we're not actually going to say the cost, you will see change from 20 quid.
We like it.
Hmm.
And Wotofo. What tofu? Whoa, tofu.
Whoa, tofu.
Have done really well.
Because we are a bit
Chassis. Sorry, I hadn't spoken for ages. My voice forgot how to work.
Jaw seized up.